Hey everyone, it's Chris here from Everyday Survival Gear, and today we're just going to be looking at the Yupard Q5 flashlight that is stainless steel, and yeah, it doesn't really have a name or a title as usual with these Yupard style lights, the cheaper lights, but actually that headlamp does, the D25S, so maybe one day they'll give it a proper name. So here it is. It's a stainless steel flashlight that is available from Aliexpress, all for the whopping price of about $8 US, which is absolutely amazing because the build quality on this is actually pretty decent. So I guess we'll get stuck into it. But first of all, I'd like to welcome all of my new subscribers and thank you all for subscribing. So yeah, so this one is already modded by me, so you can see it's pretty shiny. They don't really come this shiny. I did mother it, but I modded it with mother's cut and polish, the one for metals, and I used like a good old style tool and I went at it, and that really does bring out the shine compared to stock, you know. So you can see that's the stock one there. You can see quite a big difference, and I actually polished it up like months and months ago, so it's probably a little bit tarnished, a bit dirtier now than what it was. I don't even have a rag on me to fix it up. Okay, so it's a 18650 flashlight. Fits in a single 18650 cell. The diameter of the tube is pretty tiny, so it's going to have to be a pretty small 18650. I've got a couple of 18650s that I've double wrapped with the insulation, and they no longer fit. Also, the battery trip is a bit short, but it does still fit in normal cells, like pretty crazy. So as you guys can see, that fits in there pretty easy. Yeah, so it does stick up at the back a little bit, but yeah. So what's so good about this flashlight? Well, besides being stainless steel and looking pretty good, and only being $8 US, it fits in pretty much all your standardized parts. So right here we've got a tail cap from a like a S2 Plus style tail cap. But it doesn't come with that tail cap stock. It comes with one of these style tail caps stock. I actually don't mind this type of tail cap because it's got that brass button there. It's actually really good at carrying current. So there's pros and cons with this style. To make this work, all you got to do is flip the insulation disc upside down, and it pretty much goes together pretty easy. Nothing to worry about there. In the head of the light, we've actually got that's actually a 15mm driver, but you can fit a 17mm driver on here, and a 16mm LED. So it does come with a LED and driver stock, but they are pretty shit, so I wouldn't really count on using them unless you don't like modding, then yeah. So you can also get it in a 14500 version. This one I have not modded, but it does have a battery in it, so we can see PWM, angry cold white LED. That's what you expect for $8, right? No, I want a Nishia in there and a $100 driver. I wish we could. If only we could. So that's it, stock. Apparently they're supposed to put out 500 lumen stock. I don't know. I wouldn't really think about it as a flashlight. Just buy it as a host and you'll be pretty happy. So specs wise, it weighs 100 grams. I just measured it then. They reckon it weighed 80, but I thought 80 was way too light, so I remeasured it. It is 100 grams. It's 121 millimeters long and 23 mils in diameter. As I said, 16mm LED, and it does actually fit a 16 to 17mm driver, but the way you have to do it is you have to sandwich the driver. So I'll show you guys. Actually, I'll take this out and I'll show you guys. Alright guys, so now we got both lights apart. This is the stocky one. You can see with the stock focus. With the stock one, you can see the driver fits inside. Yeah, so this is the aluminium pill, and it is very lightweight, so you're not going to be able to put through 20 million lumens. That's the only problem. But I didn't really buy it to do that. Mind you, if you didn't mind fitting like a copper slug up top, you probably could like mod it and put like a triple in here pretty easy. So yeah, So this is what I was saying. So I've got a new camera here, guys, so I know it's probably not focusing that well, but yeah. So you can see the normal driver fits on the inside. This one doesn't. This is a convoy driver from Simon. So what you basically have to do is make sure that nothing is going to ground on the outside. So you can see there's a pretty big gap there. Push it down and then put this over it, and then that'll sit in like so, and then you have that as your driver inside the light. You do lose that little bit. This board might be like 1.5 mils thick, so you do lose that 1.5 mils from the battery, but that's okay. And you can see I've got a nice warm white Cree XPL. I don't know if it's XPL2 or no, it's from my old BLF A6, so that has to be a XPL, not an XPL2. So yeah, so like overall, I don't usually do a pros and cons, but I would say cons are when you get it, it is a little bit rough. Like this doesn't look too bad, like it still looks pretty nice, but it does need to be cleaned up. When I got my first one, which is the one that I modded, this one here, like these threads were a bit rough. There's a few little things like that, and obviously it doesn't have a proper pill, so the pill is like pretty tiny. It does still have a shelf there, but let me show you guys. So you can see there is a hole there in the shelf, and I know what you're thinking right now, but Chris, you're a fuckwit. Alright, so we all know that. Let's get over it. But in all seriousness, it's just like one of those quirks that, like, it's probably not meant to be a light that is 10 million lumens. You know, you can have it look nice, which is what I've done, and it does look nice when it's all put together and finished. But yeah, so because the 16mm LED anyway sits flush against the edges, it does actually spread heat pretty good still. Sure, not as well as like a solid shelf would or something, but you know, you kind of like you pay for what you got, for what you get. Maybe someone can get in contact with the manufacturer and tell them, you know, if you make a proper shelf, we'll give you like $5 extra, which will be great, but I'm not sure if they'll actually go for that. So yeah, so I think we've been through all the cons. Pros are, it's cheap, $8 US. It's built well, besides the shelf and like those little issues. So far, this new one that I got, it's actually, the threads are nowhere near as sharp as what the first one was, so that's pretty good. So I said it's cheap, it's built good, it's easy to mod. You know, you can fit in standard parts here, even the tail cap. I've got another standard part. Most S2 Plus parts will fit pretty easy. What else? It looks nice. It is a pretty cool, unique looking light. That's also a plus, I guess. So yeah, so it's really kind of like up to you if what you want. But if you want something that's cheap and looks good, and you don't want to spend a few $100 on a stainless steel light, I will definitely give one of these a go. I'll put it back together and we'll take it outside and see how they go. Alright guys, now we're outside. This is the stock light on, so it's only got 3 modes. It's got like a high, a low, and a blinky. So you can see with the stock LED, it's not very bright. So yeah, $8. What do you expect? Still not bad, but for the price, does like light up the backyard pretty good. Also, let me know what you think of this video quality while I'm shooting these outside beam shots, because I'm on a new camera and I can't say it's better, but it's kind of like a sidestep. But I think at night it might kind of edge out the old one. So I'll put on the modified one and we'll see how that does. So that's its low mode, and that's high mode there. So you can see high mode with the modified light. You know, it's not really super bright, but you can see it's got a nice warm white tint. It shows all the plants really well. If we look over here, you know, everything looks nice and cruisy, and it's bright, but it's not too bright. That's what you're aiming for with this light, because it can't handle too much power, so you want it bright, but just bright enough. And I feel this is probably like the hot spot for it. you know, you can push 1600 lumens, but it does get pretty hot pretty quick. So stick to about 1200, and you got like a nice light with a nice tail cap. It's shiny, and you modded it yourself, so you got a story to tell. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can buy the light from if you're interested. As always, like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.